So this is Natasha's episode. When did you request this? Like, when did you put this on?
I think she said a couple weeks ago.
Because where did you hear it at?
Another podcast?
I mean, I don't know. It's so recent that a lot of podcasts don't cover recent ones. I'll tell you where I saw it at. So I subscribe to these trashy true crime magazines.
It's all about the headline.
Like Billy Madison, where it's like, it's Nudity Magazine Day. What?
I'm not gonna lie. Like, you got to tell me, Natasha, at the end of this, like, do you agree with her sentencing? And if maybe her sentencing was more than it should have been because she has these face tattoos and serial killers plastered on her wall.
All right.
I mean, that can't help.
We will decide.
I wonder if she had a bundildo.
I mean, I shouldn't have said I was like,
Yummy.
I still want to buy that.
No.
It'd be good to have because
it will not be good to have.
It'd be rare.
Nope.
I buy rare true crime stuff.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
That's not really true crime stuff. That's personal pleasure from a...
Let me try to throw this theory out from this book I'm reading. I may mess it up, but let me know what you guys think. All right. And this is kind of out there, and I may kind of mess this up, but serial killers in the early days existed. Yes or no? Yes, right?
I mean, they had to have. It just wasn't covered because we didn't have like...
But what also existed during the day in these rural towns that was more or less unreal? Wolf attacks. Or not wolf attacks, werewolves. Werewolves. So, all right, there is this theory that...
All werewolves are serial killers?
No, just listen.
All serial killers are werewolves.
There's a theory that, because there was a werewolf epidemic, almost like the Salem, Massachusetts,
Witch trials.
which is horrible. So the witch trials are usually kind of glamorified, but the more I'm like... Glamorized, but the more I'm researching into them, it was just a big systematic rape genocide. That's all it was. It was just raping women and killing them.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I didn't
terrible.
realize that raping was involved.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Oh, yeah, dude. 100%. 100%. Because you strip down the woman, and let me tell you a disturbing fact that I also read in this book.
What book is this?
And all the guys are probably going to sign off now. And I'm not saying anyone specifically, but...
what book is this?
It's the book is called Son of Cain by Peter Vronsky. He's a true crime author. He's a doctor. Doctor. And he studies this stuff. Like, he's been doing this forever. Mm-hmm. But so he postulates, well, let me tell you this one statistic.
I like that.
The statistic is out of 40% of men that were interviewed in the study, 40% said, anonymously, that yes, they would rape a woman if they thought they can get away with it. That's fucked up. 40%.
When was this study done?
that is a lot.
Wow.
I don't like that.
No shit, right? So we know rape and murder is literally the same coin.
Yeah.
So, but the reason I'm going with this is there was a big werewolf epidemic where women were getting slaughtered. And so they started believing in werewolves. Well, the werewolf, this guy postulates, is actually the modern day serial killer. And we just covered a case where this guy's starting to sweat. I told you about the serial killers that see red.
Yeah.
They're literally turning into something else. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, right? Because everyone believed in werewolves.
Yeah.
Like this was a thing.
Remus Lupin was a werewolf.
And people were getting slaughtered and murdered.
Did you know that there's a theory that Hermione was also a werewolf?
No.
There are specific cases, and this backs it up. We'll do specific cases in the next few weeks.
I'll have to find it and send it to you.
Specific cases that men were put to death after admitting they were a werewolf, that they would transform into a werewolf, and that's why they killed like an 11-year-old child or whatever, because they turned into a werewolf. Like they were executing men for being werewolves, just like they were executing women for being vampire or witches. Is that not insane?
That's really interesting.
And there are real cases where they did that. So he's saying that werewolves back in the day, people thought they were just these big hairy creatures, but they were really just men. The 1 out of 40% of men that think they can get away with it, that just went too far and changed basically. And just like these serial killers like Ted Bundy, I mean, he can't stop what he's doing. We all think he should. Like, don't do that. But let's be honest, like they can't, because shit's all rewired up here. You know what I'm saying? Crazy.
And all due to a vitamin B deficiency.
no, not that's only one person.
No, I know.
But I will say, like, this is kind of controversial too, and then we'll get in the story. But like, pedophilia is, I know you guys are going to hate me to say this, but this, and I'm not saying this is true or not, but it is brought up in scientific communities. Pedophilia is actually a disorder,
Yeah, we've talked
a
about
brain
that.
disorder. So,
Did you know that there's a trend going now, maybe not trend, but like the term, they don't want to be called pedophiles anymore. They would, the term is minor attracted.
oh my God. dude,
Well,
fuck,
I think
I'm done.
that's
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Like, I don't think we need to make nice names for
Everyone.
crimes.
No shit.
I don't
I
know.
already can't call them prostitutes anymore. I got to call them sex workers.
No, you can call them prostitutes. That's fine. It's still the
You know,
correct term.
the mafia, a mafia boss is going to come out one day and be like, I'm sick of being called the mafia. I want to be called an import-export specialist with with
Construction company.
with businesses and sewage and
In
construction.
sanitation, yeah.
Sanitation.
All right. Are we ready to do our surprise shot dedication?
Mm-hmm.
It's for
Lauren.
Lauren.
Oh, I thought it was Laurent. I don't know.
I know, we've been saying it wrong.
Lauren from Hawaii. Lauren or Laurent.
Lauren from Florida, who lives in Hawaii.
Well, she's in Hawaii.
Yes.
So
who
she's
lives in
from Hawaii.
What's up,
Oh, she's
Courtney?
from Florida.
But like, okay. Surprise shots. Surprise shots. We don't know what they are because they're a surprise.
What part of Hawaii do you live in?
You're looking at me.
I'm trying to. Is it Lauren or Lauren?
It's Lauren.
No, I think she said it's Lauren.
Oh,
She
Jesus
said- she said-
Lord.
Can we could just call her
Lauren
Moana?
/ Lauren.
Luana.
We should just call her
No,
Moana.
Lorana.
Make way.
Lorana.
Make way. Love that movie.
Oahu, she's in.
Pretty.
Hawaii. Cheers.
Cheers.
Why was that only like half a shot?
That was good.
I poured what was left. And I didn't want to mix it because it would have curdled with something.
July 17th, 2022. Damn it, I shouldn't have showed you the lady.
Why? It was a good teaser. Maybe people would be more apt to join Patreon if they saw what we were covering.
Maybe, I don't know. All right, Google Earth. We're going to Boltley Drive
Boltley.
in the UK. Boltley,
Oh, the uke.
the UK. These are nice looking houses.
Yeah, the housing in the UK is cool.
So this is where we're going to tonight, and we're starting at, so this is Havant, Hampshire, Boltley Drive.
Hampshire.
We're starting with a FaceTime call, July 17th, 2022, between two besties.
Besties.
Hey, what you wearing, sweetie? I bet you look so hot.
You think that's how besties talk?
How big are your breasts today? Mine are so firm.
Okay.
That's what y'all talk about.
No.
I'm living in my own world.
Yes, you are.
All right. Shaye Groves and her friend Vicky Bait Up.
Okay.
Oh.
Shaye, you don't like someone's name.
No, I don't like your.
Who are you to not like someone's name?
You said bait up.
Yeah, Bait Up.
What's the name?
That's her name.
Yeah.
What would you like to say to this woman?
Never mind.
Shaye Groves calls her friend Vicky Bait Up. They've been besties for a long time now. And Shaye, as you probably can already tell from seeing her photo, she's a little eccentric.
Mm-hmm.
And so Vicky didn't think anything was too terribly wrong, but Shaye was giggling and she was kind of looking hysterical. Now, this is what the papers are reported, that she was giggling and she was thinking that she did something really funny. She was on FaceTime and was like, Vicky, look at this. Look what's going on. Look at this bookcase. There's blood splattered everywhere. Look at the carpet. I tried to clean it up, but it didn't come out. So Vicky may have thought it was a joke at first because Shaye is kind of weird like that. And she's obsessed with serial killers. And she's obsessed with this one podcast. I already made that joke.
Yes.
Is it bad that through the crime scene photos, I was like hoping we would see her logo? That's fucked up. You think she listens to us?
I don't know.
She had to have.
I don't know.
I bet she's at least heard one episode.
Maybe.
That is not the way to get on this podcast, guys. Shaye was always obsessed with true crime and serial killers. And let me just show you her wall right quick.
Oh, dear.
So she has, what is it, 7 photos of serial killers.
8.
Let's see if we can name them all. Who's this? We haven't covered her yet.
What's their name?
Tom Brady.
Yeah, it was like Ian, and what's the girl's name?
Myra.
Henley.
Yeah, Myra Henley. This one.
Richard Ramirez.
This one.
Rose West.
I don't know who this one is. I don't think.
It looks like Chris Watts, maybe,
No.
but he's not a serial killer.
Oh, you know what? I think that's Richard Chase.
Oh, really? Richard
know.
Trenton Chase?
Yeah, I don't know though.
Is that Eileen Wuornos?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Ted Bundy down here.
Oh, is
Oh.
it?
Yeah, I
He
think
looks
so.
like Ryan Gosling.
Oh, yeah, I guess
Weird.
that is. Yeah, Dahmer, and
Dahmer.
then is that?
Why they all got blood all over them? And who is this down here? I haven't covered this guy. He's got the word filth written on his face.
I
I
don't
don't know.
Jesus.
It almost looks like a young Manson before his Nazi tattoo.
I know. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, I mean, obviously, they're going to be like jail forever.
Can I see that picture again? What else is on her wall? It's
That's
like
a Mexican skull mask, isn't it?
a sugar
I
skull.
think so. Yeah,
And-
it
but-
looks like a coffin.
Yeah, coffin. I wonder what that says. Can you zoom in?
You're not going to be able to read that, Jen. I mean,
Pazuzu.
it's in English. That's fucked up. I don't know. It says,
I don't know.
It says, talk murder to me, biggest fan. I'm just kidding. That's fucked up. She also had a bookcase that is shaped like a coffin, but I don't really think that this is a very,
Pentagrams.
I mean, look, you can't even put books right here.
Oh,
Yeah, wasted
I mean,
space.
yeah, it's wasted space all the way. But she's got pentagrams and
Oh, creepy doll, a mug.
she was obsessed with Chucky. So, all right. So she thought it was a joke. So she's on FaceTime with Vicky and she's giggling. Something just happened. She's showing blood everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
She obviously tried to clean up some blood. There's blood on the carpet. And finally, so this whole time, Vicky thought maybe she has gone too far with one of her true crime episodes or whatever, because she has all the books and everything else. And she says, here, look at this. This is the knife I used to do them in. And that's what she says, do them in, like a gangster.
Oh wow, that is. Why doesn't she have her toothbrushes in upright position?
I hate that.
Yeah, that's just unsanitary.
And why does she need so many? Oh, we got that exact brush, don't we?
For under your fingernails.
Yeah, it's a
Oh, that's
fingernail
a-
brush.
Oh, I've
A
been
tampon,
using it other places.
scissors.
I thought that was like a
Ball brush.
a bleach.
Well, that's a weird. I never realized. Why did they have two faucets on a one-person sink?
One's hot, one cold.
Jen. Duh.
What? Well, that's not a dumb moment because we only have one faucet and it does both.
Oh, look
Wolfie
at
goes,
you.
I just want to organize the whole thing.
Why do you need
Agree.
3 toothbrushes?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird.
And clean your shit up. Oh my God. I mean, the knife you cleaned well, but all right, we're going to be reading from The Queen
The Queen?
versus Shaye Groves. This is from the actual judge. Now, one thing I didn't know about UK law is, and I think it's different over here, I'm pretty sure, although we might have to ask your sister. I don't know if she'll know. But UK law, you have minimums that they put. So if you murder someone and it's premeditated and you bring the weapon with you, you automatically get a 25-year sentence. Now, they could go up from there, but it has to be at least minimum 25. If you kill someone, but you don't bring the weapon with you, it's a 15-year sentence. So I don't think that's the way it is over here. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I don't know.
But the reason I'm saying that is because the judge in this sentencing paper that Nicole's going to read, she explains this at the end, and it's very interesting. This is why we're giving you this and this much, because the Queen requires yada yada.
From The Queen versus Shaye Groves, at some point, you start identifying yourself as a goth, cultivating a dark and ghoulish humor, a preoccupation with crime, killing, and killers, and a strong interest in lethal weapons, rape, pornography, and rough sex with some consensual violence such as spanking. You acquired the habit of carrying a flick knife in the heel of your boot when you went out of doors and kept a Celtic dagger, a ball-bearing gun, and 2 axes in your bedroom.
Dang.
Damn, we have 2 axes, or we got
have
one.
Not for a purpose other than that's what I get if somebody breaks in.
No,
I get the axe, you get the gun.
I want the axe.
Fine. We need to discuss our strategy then.
Yeah. All right, you can have the axe,
Okay.
but don't hit me with it. I swear to God, and don't be trying to throw it either.
I wouldn't.
I don't know, man.
Okay.
You in the heat of the moment. I have an axe sticking out of my back. Can you describe this woman?
She has a long face.
Wow.
Yeah, she does.
She does.
Oh, okay.
Tattoos on the face.
She's got almost like is it a leaf tattoo or vines
Yeah.
on her forehead going
Uh-huh.
down to the side of her face on
A
her left
sword
side?
over her right eyebrow, and then underneath her.
And then does she also have a tattoo in her nose where her eyebrows meet? Is it also a tattoo right there?
What?
See where the
No. No.
Or is that just bruising?
Where are you looking?
Where the piercing is right here. Kind of looks like there's a tattoo
Oh.
also there.
No.
Right here?
Yeah.
No, that's shadow from
that's
the
the
balls.
shadow from the balls that's on her face.
Ah.
She has 2 balls on her face right
I
there.
can't imagine that would be. Oh, she has another tattoo
down
on the.
here. Oh, look at her neck.
She has all tattoos all over.
Oh yeah.
On her neck. Oh yeah, she also has a
On the
tattoo on the
other
right side of her
side.
cheek. But she's got eyebrow piercings. Her cheeks are pierced. Her like area where if she were to have dimples, but like closer to her lips are pierced. Underneath her lips, the corners of her lips, the bull nose, each side of her nose.
That's a septum, the bull nose.
The bull nose, but also she also has piercings on either side.
Okay,
So she's
and
got 3 piercings in her nose, plus piercing on her bridge, like top bridge of her nose, close to her eyebrows.
In the UK, I want to say that this is more common in the UK than
Really?
here. Yeah, because the UK is where like the punk scene happened.
Oh yeah, that's true.
The Sex Pistols and stuff.
Yeah.
Or was that America?
No,
And
that
the
was
Ramones
UK.
So this is where, there's like a lot of people that do this stuff in the UK, right?
I feel like that's not very common. I mean, it's not very common here, but maybe earlier, but it's not as common as it was. I don't know. I feel like I don't know.
Look at her now. So this is
Today?
yes, today, Jen. So this is her gothness. She has pentagrams, fish stockings. What is that?
Fishnet.
Fishnet.
Fishnets. But she doesn't have the tattoos on her face yet.
Oh, yeah.
Look at those fingernails. Holy shit. Jesus Christ.
Can you imagine if you wore contacts trying to wear?
Oh shit.
No.
Oh, Jesus Christ. But she is, I mean, some people like that. All right, like that look. But this is her with, being somewhat normal. And this is actually pretty recent to this story. She, like no one else I've ever heard of, started getting into the goth scene when she was 22. I thought that was a high school thing.
All I can think about is the episode that we did the goth stuff.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
Goth jelly.
Yeah.
This is her, the one on the right there. I mean, she looks normal.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't know. Some people might like that, might think it's really attractive and,
To each their own.
yeah. But
I couldn't
I
pull it
will
off.
I will say this is why this photo is why this case is viral. I'm 100%. I mean, let's be honest. It's different. You don't see that ever. And that's why people are curious. Anyway. So Vicky, they're on the phone. Shaye called her friend Vicky. Look at all this blood in my house. Oh, look at all this. I done him in with this knife. Now Vicky kind of knows who he would be the boyfriend that she's been recently dating, but she still was kind of hoping at least that it was a joke until she panned over the camera and she saw this lump on the bed covered in a duvet. And that's when she called
999.
There you go. That's when she called 992.
I wouldn't have known.
999. Very good, Jen.
999.
All right. So I'm going to go back to the murder. It is actually extremely gruesome how she killed this man that was in her bed. And we're going to talk about that later. But I feel like we should talk more about who she is first, get to know her, and then we can get on to the murder, right? Plus, if I tell you now, I just kind of like, you guys will just be like,
Ruin the whole surprise.
my mom used to tell me not to give it away too quickly.
Give it away now.
Make them work for it, baby boy.
That is not at all how I recall our first date.
All right, Shaye Groves, 27 years old. Let's talk a little bit about her background. And the best way to do that is just straight from the queen herself, because she actually explains the whole background. And you can kind of see that Shaye had a horrible childhood growing up.
Got it. You had a difficult time as a child. I accept that you were beaten as a young child. To what extent is not clear. You are partially deaf and have worn hearing aids in both ears since the age of 11.
Hold on a second. Since the age of 11, I haven't seen this specifically, but she was beaten as a child through her prepubescent age up until her teenage years before she left home. And she became deaf at 11 in one ear. I'm going to speculate a little bit that it was caused from the beating, because I mean, just to go deaf suddenly during the time.
It could happen, but
So I don't know. That's my speculation.
At school, you showed violent tendencies towards both yourself and others. You self-harmed as a You self-harmed as a teenager by cutting your legs. You also threatened others with a scalpel scalpel on one occasion and at times carried a knife during your teenage years.
So 100%, literally, well, no, probably 90% of cases we cover is because of the horrible childhood.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the effing reason. I don't care what anyone says, man. Like if you're a rapist and all this stuff, most likely you've had a traumatic childhood. Let's be honest. Like
or some sort of trauma.
Oh, head injuries and all this shit. Look at the parents. Like 9 times out of 10, man, is the parents. I'm telling you. Anyway, horrible childhood, beaten, although not clear how much she was beaten. This may have been the cause of her being deaf. That's my speculation. She started acting out. She started self-harming. She started to threaten others. Clearly, the social workers needed to get involved and intervene. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, though. At 13, she was diagnosed with bipolar affective disorder. She started taking drugs and drinking alcohol. As a teenager, she left home. This was at 13. She finally said, I'm done. I can't get beat anymore. I'm sick of this. She left home with an older man that she lived with for a time, and he beat her and abused her pretty badly through her teenage years.
Sad.
Things finally turned around when she met this man named Ashley Wingham. This man fathered her only daughter, who was 5 years old at the time of her arrest. This daughter was born in April 2017. This man, Ashley, was a better influence than some of the other people she's been hanging out with. And they had a daughter and stuff together. So it was looking like she was on a better path. This is around 2017. So this is real recent, right? She was 21. During birth, she was diagnosed with complex post-traumatic stress disorder. She felt, Natasha, did you know all this stuff? I mean, how in depth did you go to all this stuff?
I'm not sure she can really talk freely. She's at work trying to sneakily listen.
Oh, okay. So make us a pizza.
And send it all the way to South Carolina, please.
Yeah. She fell out of this relationship. So she has a daughter and she's still taking care of this daughter. This daughter was here during the FaceTime call, by the way, at 5 years old. And she goes and she lives in a women's refuge. Now, this is when she was 21. At 22, she was just going downhill. She started doing cocaine, drinking more. And she then found goth, which is nuts because her transformation was almost overnight. You saw a photo of her that I showed you when she was quote unquote normal, I guess you could say, right here. And then literally overnight, because this was in 2018 to 2019. That's when this photo was taken, which I'm going to talk about. But now it's this,
Yeah.
The transformation was pretty overnight, and I don't think it was a good one. She identified herself as a pagan. The knife used to kill, spoiler, her boyfriend's dead on her bed. The knife used to kill her boyfriend was a Celtic knife.
Celtic knife. There's a difference. The Celtics are the sports team.
Well, it was an NBA licensed knife, Jen.
Well, there
Jesus
you go.
Christ. It said Boston Celtics on it, right?
I don't believe it did, but that's okay.
Oh, you thought, no, it's Jen, it's Boston Celtics, not Boston Celtic. What the fuck?
It's Boston
How's that?
Celtics.
How's that
because
cooking rum for ya?
that's the way that people pronounce it. But if you're talking about anything other than the basketball team, it's Celtic.
I refuse to say you're right. She had a knife.
An Irish knife?
She had an Irish knife. That's Irish?
Celtics are Irish, yes.
She had a drunken knife. All right. The knife that she used to kill her boyfriend, Frankie is his name, was a Celtic knife, right?
Good job.
Was a Celtic knife. She initially claimed that she used it for a pagan ritual. Now, there's a lot of things she did wrong that probably would have saved her from going to prison, and which we'll get to, but this was her roommate at one point before she left. So that's the two of them together. That's Lauren White. Now, the reason she's important is because we can kind of tell Shaye's personality through the roommate. So they got an apartment. Lauren White was a roommate. Lauren became a domestic servant and a slave, like a BDSM slave or whatever. A slave. So she would do the laundry, she would cook, she would clean, she would make Shaye her tea, and she would even put on socks on Shaye's feet. But you do that to me. It's not a big biggie. If she refused, then Shaye beat her. So she's got some violent tendencies, man.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about the murder. You guys like this or not?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I said it
Okay,
again.
so I would just like to clarify. Thank you, Brandon, Celtic culture ran from France to Ireland, Spain to almost Holland.
So I was right.
No.
No, you weren't right. I was wrong.
Yes, but that's better.
That's as good.
that's even better, man. So this is the boyfriend here. If you want to describe this guy, it's Frankie Fitzgerald, which is also an actor in the UK. Would y'all damn look at the photo so we can get it off the damn screen?
He was a good looking guy.
You think so?
Yeah.
All right, well. So that's Frankie Fitzgerald. When I looked up his name, though, initially, there's actually an actor in the UK named Frankie Fitzgerald. I don't know if you know who this is, but let's see. He was like a child actor. It was very confusing. Oh, fuck it. I don't even find it. Anyway, that's the boyfriend. Now, let me tell you about the boyfriend here. And I want to say this father of two has been portrayed everywhere as being loving and caring, and he didn't deserve this at all. You can come to your own conclusions about that, if he deserved this or not. But I will say from his parents, he was a kind and beautiful person and sadly leaves two children behind that will never get to know their daddy. We thank the jury for their verdict today. To our Frankie, we love and miss you more than anything in this world. Your shining light will always be in our hearts. So you can tell me later if you think he deserved it.
Okay.
I'm telling you right now, this fucking asshole deserved it. End of story.
Really?
Fuck yeah. This guy met Shaye in a bar February 2022. So literally just last year. They quickly fell in love, but it was more of a lust type of relationship. They basically found out that they had one thing in common. They like torture sex. They like to be, what? What is
Little
this?
choking.
That's how you choke?
I don't know.
She's the whale. She only uses one hand.
That's what she does to me. She's like this. I'm just like this. She's like this. And then she's like this. Oh, shit. This is going downhill. They met in February 2022 in a bar. They fell in love, but it was more of a lust thing. They both liked this masochistic kind of dominatrix thing. And he was really attracted to her goth outfit. So output. All right. Can you read the queen?
From the Queen versus Shaye Groves, your relationship with Frankie was marked by rough sex, use of cocaine and alcohol, filming yourselves doing sexual acts, and watching the film afterwards, and role-playing involving humiliating language, such as being called his dirty little whore, a title you said you were happy to accept.
But let's find out if she was happy to accept it or not. Or should I go over the murder first and then go back? What do you think? Jen, it's up to you.
Whatever you want to do.
You were sleeping.
I wasn't
You don't
sleeping.
know the question.
No, I do know the question. Do you go
What do you
back
wanna
and
do?
explain the murder first?
All right, murder first. So
I wasn't sleeping.
It's all right, Jen.
But I wasn't sleeping. I
It's okay.
really was thinking.
All right, so let's talk about the murder here. On the day that she called her friend Vicky was the murder day. This was July 17th, 2022. This is what happened, and this is going to develop for you guys here in a second. But they were sleeping together, and it was the morning time. Shaye wakes up, and during this time in the relationship, so a couple months have went by. It's now July. They met in February. They both have been extremely jealous of each other, checking each other's phones, stuff of this nature. She looks at his phone while he's sleeping. She sees that a Facebook message came in from a female, and she sees that this female was 13 years old.
Ooh.
So that specific instant pushed her over the edge. Now, spoiler alert, because I'm just going to wrap this in here now. This girl, for whatever reason, this 13-year-old that messaged him was in fact 17. I don't know why she would say she was 13. And to give him a little bit of credit, which he doesn't deserve, he actually blocked her as soon as the message came in. But at this point in the relationship, tensions were so high and there was so much jealousy towards each other that's when she pulled out that Celtic knife from under her pillow, slashed the throat, and then stabbed him 19 times. This is from the Queen versus Shaye Groves. Frankie came upstairs to the bedroom and was asleep when you stabbed him fatally in the neck using the Celtic dagger. The blow required moderate force, as the pathologist found. The first wound inflicted was inevitably and swiftly fatal. The back of his throat was opened internally. The left internal jugular vein was completely completely severed. So the left, so that was a pretty heavy hit.
Yeah.
It doesn't say she slit it ear to ear, but it's like she took it and just kind of did like a downward circular motion on his neck, and that cut the left. So that would be right. So he's sleeping, and then she kind of jabs it like that. From what this judge is saying, the left internal jugular vein was completely severed, and the left common carotid artery partially severed, causing torrential bleeding and rapid loss of consciousness and death.
Oh.
There were no defensive injuries. You stabbed him in the heart and in the chest area a further 19 times, which is one reason she's obviously going to say self-defense, as you're going to see.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's one of the reasons it's not going to work for her. 19 times. Those wounds would have been fatal, but when they were inflicted, Frankie was already dead or dying.
Ooh.
So that is the murder. Now let's talk about how they met and if he deserves it or not.
Okay.
There would only be one way that I would say that he deserves it, and that is if she was threatened, self-defense, or, he was just abusive.
Mm-hmm.
And you're saying he was?
No, I'm saying we'll find out here in a second.
Okay.
All right. They met February 2022 in a bar, quickly fell in love. They had sex on camera the whole time leading up to these months. By mid-March, so a month later, the relationship had already started to sour. He was doing more and more cocaine, and he started becoming abusive and violent to her, not just in the sexual aspects either, but just, randomly violent. And he also convinced her to do more drugs. She hasn't touched a drug since her daughter was born 5 years ago. She meets this guy, and now he's coming in doing cocaine, saying, hey, you need to do more drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind, she has a 5-year-old daughter that lives in the house with her.
Yeah.
All right. So the relationship's going bad. This is 2 months before. On March 12th, Shaye started to cut again. Self-harm. She's cutting her legs. I'm not saying that she was on the right path to begin with the goth thing, but she definitely wasn't doing drugs.
Mm-hmm.
She definitely wasn't self-harming.
Yep.
She met this guy. Now she's doing that. Things are getting violent and abusive. She's starting to cut. Now, I am very for the female killers. That's my bias right there. You guys already know it, but I am for the female killers. So I'm just going to say that right now. All right. Can't help it. So their relationship began to be violent. Frankie became more angry and jealous as he saw on her phone that previous boyfriends had been texting her again. Then he stated to her that you cannot no longer leave your house. You can't leave your house anymore. So now she's confined to her own house because this guy's too insecure and jealous.
Later in March, your bedroom camera was filming you and Frankie having sex. It is clear that he penetrated you anally. You did not stop him, saying afterwards that it was not the most romantic act, but proof of your love for him. I accept, however, that it was brutal and not fully consensual act, and that it caused you pain, of which you complained at the time that you wanted him to stop, but he did not.
So the judge is actually going out to bat for her, I think. On March 22nd, he made her sign a sex contract stating that she had to be his sex slave in any way that he required.
He's like making her sign a 50 Shades of Grey contract.
Yeah, legit.
Is that what they did?
Yeah.
50 Shades of Rape? Shit. I mean, that contract would never fucking hold up anywhere. What is he going to sue her? Oh, I said to do anal and you're not going to do it? You're in breach of a fucking contract? What judge is going to be like, oh, yeah, you that's a voided contract. You got to go to jail. That's fucking stupid. All right. If your boyfriend or husband makes you sign a contract, it is not binding. There you go. I release you from it.
Unless your boyfriend or husband is a lawyer or some other
Yeah, but
type
you
of...
can't. That is illegal. I'm pretty sure. You can't make someone sign a sex contract and then hold that shit up in court.
I don't know.
That's just ridiculous, man.
I do not know. This might be, we need to ask our resident attorney.
Yeah.
I don't know if she knows that yet. I can ask.
At this point, she began to write her baby daddy, more text her baby daddy. His name is Mr. Payne. He's going to start coming around. I know, right? Mr. Payne. It's like the worst fucking outcome for this lady.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's actually going to start coming back around. And the reason she reaches back out to him is because she starts to plan her own suicide.
Oh, no.
In early May 2022, the messages ranged from expressions of love to more menacing messages of derision from Frankie, who called you a, quote, fucking slut, and suggested you answer to another message should be, yes, daddy, to which you responded with dark banter. I'm sorry, daddy, of course I'll do as I'm told and listen to everything daddy says. He responded that you are, quote, such a good little whore, to which you answer was only for you.
So the way it seems here, and the judge picks up on this too, she's doing this willingly, but she's kind of being forced. There's stuff that she doesn't want to do, obviously.
She's doing it because she needs like some shelter and somewhere to go.
Yeah. On May 17th, he threatened to, quote, snap you in half if he found out that she was sleeping around. That's when she started placing that dagger under her pillow, and that dagger was there so if Frankie goes too far, while at this point he's forcing her to have sex anally and vaginally. So fuck this guy.
Yeah.
Fuck this guy.
This guy needs to go.
This guy, you know what? I've seen articles that was like Shaye Groves, and they have her photo with the goth. You know, she took this caring father of two, and his life is now ruined. I'm like, dude, you fucking deserve it, motherfucker. You guys will see in a second. Sorry if I'm saying that.
No.
I'm just fucking.
I am eager. One of our members here said, hang on, let me give credit where credit is due, because Wolfie said John loves his ladies.
Free Shayna Huber's free Shaye. Free Shayna, free Shaye. You guys hate me.
Shit. Brandon said, good thing John isn't a judge. Every woman would beg him to try their case.
That's true, man. Oh my God, I'd be so light on these.
I know. Yeah, everyone would be like, dang, I hope I get Judge John.
Judge John. Oh, I like that. Oh, I like
Judge
that.
John.
Judge John.
Oh my gosh, there's a series on it's on Freevee, and it's called Jury Duty, and it's like everyone in the show is a paid actor except for one guy who thinks he's actually on a real case.
Is it a real show? Like,
yeah, it's
a real, like, he doesn't know for real?
No, for real, he doesn't know. Like James Masterson is in it, or not Masterson, Marsden. James Marsden is in it, and like it's kind of, I only watched the first couple episodes, but it's funny. It's because the guy really thinks that he's on a real case, and they get sequestered and all this. Yeah,
I feel like that's kind of fucked.
Like, what is it, like a murder case or some shit?
No, it's not. I don't know if it's a murder case, but like it's not real. The case is not real. The judge is not real. The other people,
everyone's an actor.
Everyone
one person
is a paid actor except for the guy that thinks that he's being called for jury duty. Like in the first episode, there's like when they're getting like selected for the case, like there's a lady that's like, I feel like I shouldn't be on the case, and the judge is like, why do you feel like you shouldn't be? And she's like, because I don't want to. And he was like, that's fair. And he like, it's fun. It's funny.
All right, can you read Frankie Spanked Your Bottom?
Frankie spanked your bottom more than 100 times. The first 56 in 6 minutes. You are required to respond to each slap, sorry, daddy, or I'll be a good girl for you, daddy.
Oh, what?
Later, he ordered you to count the slaps. You counted at least 36 slaps before stopping and complaining that it hurt, saying, please, no more, no more.
So apparently on the video that they made that the judge and jury watched, and there was like a 19-hour deliberation, the video was hours long of her getting spanked, and her butt apparently, and the video is not public, but it was just ravaged. Yeah. So this is getting violent. Things start turning more jealous, and she's also to blame too. I will say she does fan the fire here, as you'll see. She starts going back between her boyfriend Frankie and her previous boyfriend and baby daddy Mr. Payne.
Oh, Pain or Payne?
It's Payne.
Oh, don't like.
But still,
I mean, it's still like
fucked up.
Ironic.
Yeah.
Isn't it ironic?
Frankie became more violent and sadistic once he started getting a suspicion that she was going back to the baby daddy, and he started, quote, fisting her and, quote, sunflowering her.
I mean, I know what fisting is. What is sunflowering? And actually, do I want to know?
Okay, I'm going to tell you what I think it is. I haven't looked it up. So fisting, I think, is when you put your fist inside a vagina.
Yeah, that's what fisting is.
I think sunflowering may be inside the anus hole, right? I'm typing what is sunflowering.
Why do you think that's what it is? Like, that has nothing to do with it. And I don't don't know if I want to know what sunflowering is.
What
Wolfie
is
says,
sunflowering
Don't
oil?
Google it.
Wolfie says, no,
Don't.
Jenny, don't. Wolfie says, don't Google it.
Sex Lexus. Well, how about for answers.com? I don't know. It's where you fist a girl, then you open your hand out.
Oh, that makes sense, I
What?
guess.
Open your hand out.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
You fist and then
No,
it's like,
okay, we're
Oh,
done.
God.
We're done.
What the
We're
fuck?
done.
That's even worse than I thought.
We are done here.
Spirit fingers.
Like, no.
That's fucked up.
Okay. Can we move on from this? No.
I don't know. I don't like that.
Jesus Christ, Wolfie. How the fuck did you know that? You're like, don't look it up.
She says, just no images, please.
3 days before the murder, this is kind of fucked up right here. So you remember the FaceTime incident that started this whole thing?
Right.
She calls her friend Vicky Beta, which they're besties. Now, I don't know how this is really connected, but it just brings it to another level. Maybe the stress level of this incident brought things to a whole new level. But 3 days before Frankie's murder, she found out that her 5-year-old daughter may have been being abused by her bestie, Vicky Bateup's 7-year-old son.
Oh.
And they found out together, Vicky Bateup actually is the one who called and reported the incident to social services.
Uh-huh.
So that's terrible.
Yeah.
That is terrible. Could you imagine having to report your own child?
It's awful.
But
But that's a
awful.
responsible person.
Yeah.
Like at least she wasn't trying to be like trying to cover it up or throw it under the rug or anything. But that's still
so Vicky Bateup in this story is the one that called 999, the 911 service, during the phone call. She has a 7-year-old child, like I just said. She's the one that reported her child. I don't know if this was actually, I don't know if it happened or not. It just stops there and says that on this day, 3 days before this report was filed. So maybe it was nothing, but I'm telling you, the stress kind of was there. They're still best friends. There's nothing she did wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. But I am telling you, dude, those kids are in the wrong environment, man. You know, your mom's upstairs getting tortured on camera and holy shit,
Yeah.
right? So at this point, Frankie became enraged and violent, and he would start punching the walls in the bookcase and behaving like a quote, jealous pestilent?
pestilent. Yes.
A jealous, pestilent child. That same evening, while you were performing oral sex on him, he had uttered the first name of his former girlfriend, and you were enraged that his partner was engaging his attention and may have then became a serious rival. Excuse me. So they're doing this on purpose now. They're trying to make each other jealous by having texts come in, you know, sort of things. This is a very destructive relationship, and it's getting worse. Like something's going to happen. I don't know why they just couldn't split, but they didn't, right? It's got to come to an end. Right. A little bit about Frankie, again, just real quick. A history of domestic violence. The mother of his own 2 kids he would abuse and beat. I don't want to go in. He's this piece of shit. Now, is anything different?
I mean,
you can definitely see like a pattern of abuse and conditioning.
That's her getting arrested. She's like, what? That's her. Yeah. So basically, and that was a day before the murder, what I just talked about with the texting, and things got to a crescendo, and finally, she said it was self-defense, but a couple things that she did wrong here. She tried to clean up the crime scene. She was giggling to her friend Vicky. She didn't actually come up with a self-defense motive until October 7th when asked about it, right? So that was July 22nd was the murder date. October 7th is when she came up with the self-defense, which I do believe was there. Vicky had, for the last month before the murder, had been telling her to protect herself. They found a gun like in their house and stuff like that. She put that stuff there to protect herself. So she didn't bring the knife to the murder. The knife was already there for protection.
right.
She just kind of flew off the handle when she thought he was texting this 13-year-old girl who turned out to not be 13 at all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. It's not really self-defense because he was sleeping, obviously, but he was beating her and abusing her. We do know that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she tried to clean up the space, which is not good. good. She didn't come up with a self-defense story until 2 months later. She was bragging and giggling about this. She had serial killer and true crime memorabilia all over her wall and the bookshelves and everything else. This is stuff that doesn't look good for her.
Right.
Her actual look of her face with the piercings and the tattoo, the physical appearance also probably didn't help her at all. She sent 2 messages to her friend Vicky saying that Frankie had left the house. This was after the FaceTime call, trying to be like an alibi, using her friend as like an alibi.
Now, do they have a battered woman's defense in the UK?
Good question.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I don't know, but I will tell you that I don't think she was in the relationship long enough, because I mean, they just met in February.
Yeah.
She killed him in July. I mean, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't think she had the best lawyer either, or any lawyer from what I've seen. You later told a mental health nurse that you did not deserve a blanket in your cell because you had taken a man's life, that what you had done was inhumane, and that you would be going to jail for a long time. She also told Vicky that she would bury Frankie's body in the garden out back. So obviously she's in prison. What would you give her?
10 years.
Oh, that's light, no?
I think it would balance the conditional abuse with some of the issues with her reporting, maybe like how she reported the case and stuff like that.
Well, I will say she actually got life.
Wow.
But it's like a conditional. She can get out in 23 years, a minimum term of 23 years.
Wow.
Remember how I said if she would have had brought the knife from downstairs to upstairs to stab him to death, she would have gotten 25 minimum.
Huh.
So she wouldn't be able to parole until 25. But since she didn't bring the knife up there, she got 15. And then the judge threw on more because, of all the circumstances, the jealousy and all this shit, right?
Right.
Interesting.
So she has got, I think she'll be out in 23. I think she'll do the minimum. I can't see her in but I'm telling you, her appearance is not helping her.
No,
man.
I totally agree with that.
It's not helping her. That serial killer memorabilia all over her walls. I mean, I'm not saying it's not good to have, but dude, if you're going to commit a murder, like throw that shit away, because that is what the viralness is. They show her photo with the tattoos and she's known as a serial killer groupie. That image does not look good in the public, the public perception.
Totally.
So I don't know. I wanted to do that story. I'm glad you requested it, Natasha. I honestly didn't see your request, or did I? But I hope that was, something. It's
It
kind
was
of a
good.
short story. I don't know.
Well, no, it was
Interesting.
good.
We're going to do some more Arthur Shawcross coming up. Not today, obviously, but
Later in the week or next week.
I want to do it this week. I'm not going to promise it, but I mean, we need to do 3 episodes, so I don't know.
Okay.
So
We'll figure a way. Yep.
Well, thanks guys for listening.
Yeah.
Appreciate it very much as always.
all right, until next time, good night, you lovely, lovely people.